sorry, I'm just going to finish what I was saying. So things coming into your realm of consciousness and coming in your realm of frame of thinking at that moment when you're thinking something and it manifests right in front of you. So you were thinking about your mom and all of a sudden she's calling. That's a form of synchronicity. You're just thinking about, oh my God, I wish I could go to this play I've been thinking about, and all of a sudden you have an advertisement in your mailbox with 20% discount off the play that you were just thinking about. Those are forms of synchronicity, and actually is a confirmation that you're on the right path. It's just a reminder that, you know, it's almost like a deja vu feeling. It's kind of like awakens your spirit a little bit to let you know, yes, that's interesting, that's happening. Like, keeps you on the right path. It makes you acknowledge that you're on the right path. So what we're asking for now to my YouTube family, we really would like to come together to create a format of people who are awake and aware, and start to really put pieces of the puzzle together so that we could formulate an informational group that some of us who are just waking up would like a go-to, rather than going, like, you know, a lot of us are the pioneers and we're learning and we're going through the steps and we're bringing pieces together, but there's some people who are just waking up and we don't really have time. We're in the 11th hour, so they don't have time to go through the steps that we may have gone over the years. They need the information instantaneously, and a lot of these newer souls that could just wake up last minute and go right into the mix of the mix, you know, into the uprising and the acknowledgement of what we're going through. They can handle the information quick and easy. So I'm calling for all you informational YouTubers. And it doesn't matter, even though I talked about the Melinated, I talk about a lot of subject matters. I'd like for you guys to really come out and volunteer yourselves to maybe, I'm going to probably create a format where we can contact each other and talk about the occurrences happening, especially in the UFO community, because we do have a level, we did have a level of censoring going on, especially when it came to the melanated people and their contactee experiences. We are noting that there are quite a few melanated, negroid, black folk, indigenous, whatever you call yourself, Moors, that are having high amount of contact and are experiencing levels of levels of experience with, whether it be ETs, interterrestrials, extraterrestrials. They're having a level of, they're having really, really major levels of contact, and they're not having maybe the words or the knowledge to acknowledge what it truly is. I mean, if I talk to Christian people, sometimes what happens is they denote it to an angel or something godlike. So they'll say something like, oh my God, you know, I had this experience, an angel came to me and I was floating up, and they don't realize they're having contact. You know, it's an ET pulling up to the craft, and they're interacting with some of their galactic family. They just equate it to religion because that's all the base information that they have. You know, they're pulling from their resources of all the knowledge that they know. Same with people who are in the Muslim faith, Judaic faith, Buddhist faith. They have a tendency to pull all these experiences and equate it to their religion, as opposed to equate it to where it really is coming from, which is a galactic level of interaction that they're experiencing. And it's quite a few melanated people that are having contactee experience. So again, like I said before, not all contactees are from the sticks or in the woods or in a farm, you know, off in the middle of nowhere. There's a high level of interaction with the extraterrestrials and interterrestrials happening in the inner cities. Yes, people are being taken up on crafts in the middle of the city. There's a lot of UFOs hovering above some of the most major cities where there's a high concentration of melanated people. And what I'm noting is that a lot of times when the melanated people are taken up, there's a less traumatic experience, and we call it more contact experience. And of course, my non-melanated sisters and brothers, my white people and my Asianic people and my Latino people, they are experiencing some levels of contact experience. You'll hear that. But usually there's a high amount of non-melanated people white people, others that are experiencing a negative abductee experience. And we're starting to think that some of the ETs taking those people up, it's almost like we're lab rats. The ones who look more like the originals, there's less tampering going on. I feel like the indigenous people, the brown people, the bronze people, the copper people, there is a level of respect when they're being taken on these crafts, and they're having a very just a pleasant experience with their extraterrestrial family, I think, because there's a closer DNA resonance. Whereas the others, people who are white, who are, I think, most non-melanated people know that there's been a genetic modification going on with them, that they were created in a laboratory by some of the melanated ETs, the black ETs, the very dark ones, because we're all hybrid. If I was original that came from the cosmos, most likely I'd be very, very dark. That's usually the way they are. The ones living on the surface of the planet, the indigenous people, look like me. They're copper color, same texture hair, generally, are very nice and thick and, coiled to collect the energies of the sun. So those people were the people living on the surface of the planet. They were brown. All people on this planet were melanated. Welcome to the truth. Any other entity, just like you have tigers, if you ever see a white tiger, that's a genetic anomaly. And if there's more than one white tiger, it's been created. It's not a natural thing. So all this to say, it's just science. White people were created in a laboratory, and all of us were modified, remember, but particularly they were created to keep the melanated people at a certain level. It was almost to keep a balance, because the melanated people are very highly connected, highly sensitive, and you can tell it because they go buck wild when anything goes on. It's because they're highly sensitive to any sort of influxes in the planet or in the environment. Black people are very sensitive to chemicals or any alterations happening environmentally, because they're part of the surface, they're part of the originals. Whereas white people were modified and they have a desensitivity to a lot of the changes. That's why, amongst the higher ups, they're non-melanated, and they have less of a connection to, the earth and the planet in a lot of ways. That's why, a lot of the garbage is being thrown all over the planet. A lot of the trees are being pummeled down, and buildings are being built. And remember, buildings are just caves. Let's keep it real. And a lot of the wildlife is being displaced, pollution, because these entities have more of a disconnection. When they were modified, it's like levels of modification. It creates desensitivity. And like I said, there were levels of us who are hybrid, and white people were highly hybridized. And they just, as more genetically modified you are, the less sensitive you are, more numb you are to the practicalities of nature. And it's not for all, but it's not natural. This is genetically modified. We're all genetically modified, but white people more so. So I love my white people. I love my black people. I love people. I love good souls. I love the planet, but I'm just stating a fact of the truth. You're not going to see 20 million white lions running around, because it's not natural. It's an anomaly. You'll see maybe one, but you won't see 50 million. When you start to see more than that, it means there's been some splicing and some genetics, genetic altering that's been done. And who's doing that? But the ETs. Okay, and let's keep it real. The black ETs, the Negroid ETs, were the ones who created, genetically modified, and created what we consider to be Europeans, white people. So don't get mad, black folks. Our ancestral people, our galactic family created what you consider opposition, who have have a lack of empathy towards the melanated people, to create almost like a scenario so that we would have to rise above and see what we would do in adversity, in conflict with others that are different than us. That's all. And at the end of the day, we're all souls, and we've all been in every body if you believe in reincarnation. So, you've been a genetically modified person too. And white people who are in a genetically modified, overly genetically modified body have been brown people at one point. So I'm just keeping it real on science. It is what it is. But calling for everyone to come together. so we can create a forum and have discussions and bring pieces of the puzzle together. And I thank you all for really adding some, I'm a vegetarian, but I'm going to say this, meat and potatoes, to the conversations below. I read everyone. Sometimes I don't respond to some. I'm still living in the matrix, people. I know you just think I'm a goddess living this fantastic life, but I do have a level of, matrix type things that I do, and I cannot get back to every single one, but do know that I read every single comment. And for any that are negative, you won't see them on there. Like, I think if you're going to come on my video and use words like bitch or other 4-letter words, I think your level of consciousness needs to be dismissed and you are cut. It's not too many. It's like 1 or 2 people, and I think, also with this kind of information, you're going to get agents that come on your page to cause some sort of dissemination. So I get you, but I'm here to really share and learn, and I'm here to assist Mother Earth in her process of ascension as well as myself. So however we get there, as long as it's positive and integrity based, I'm good with that. So share the information, everybody. Let's talk about synchronicity. Let's talk about the bases being, bombed, disseminated on Mars and the moon. Let's keep it going. Like, listen, not all reptilians are negative. Some of my YouTubers think so. I have a hard time believing that. I think there's good and bad in everything. I think, we're living in that kind of environment. I think, yes, reptilians could be considered negative because of the type of way they feed. But I wouldn't say a snake is evil. I just wouldn't play with it. A snake bites and it's defensive and it's very impulsive and it eats eats live things. But I'm not going to say it's evil because it does that. That's the way it feeds. It's just what it is. I just acknowledge what it is and I keep myself at safe, distance from it. That's all. So reptilians are just other creatures that feed differently, and I think to judge them and say that they're all negative, I think it's just, that's our consciousness being a little limited to thinking that there are other species. Like we eat, people eat animals, and that's a level of heathenism too. So what would you say? People are evil for eating animals? I could say that, but would it be honest? No. There's some good people who do still sustain flesh. Yeah, it's flesh, people. But I know people who have good hearts, who are giving people, who are loving people, who do still consume flesh. And that's why I say we got to be very careful how you judge and call out these other entities. Anyway, got to go. Make these videos too long. I want to get out of here. So state it in comments. I like when you like the videos, and hopefully we can get a conversation in a forum. I'm going to try to get a blog together. Shout out to PB. See, I made the video. Sometimes, I want to make a video, but I just don't have much, time in the day. So I like to throw it in there every once in a while. But keep it positive. Try to keep your palates clean. Try to eat healthy food. The planet. Try to stay the hell away from vaccinations. You know how I feel about that. But anyway, we'll talk later. Love you. Fleur boom. Peace out.